Hi everyone, and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast. We're coming to you from Knowledge 16 in Las Vegas. I'm Kirsty McGowan. I'm here with Carlos Casanova.
Hi, Kirsty.
Charlie Betts.
Kirsty.
And now we're going to be speaking with Chris Orr from Epicor. Hi, Chris.
Very good. Very good.
Chris, really excited to see Epicor here. Just for the benefit of our audience, Epicor is, you said, I think the 6th largest ERP software manufacturer focused on mid-market specialty verticals. And you actually have yourself significant service management, customer service problems that you are supporting now with ServiceNow. If you could talk a little bit more about Epicor's perspective and interest in the service management space, and
absolutely.
What brings you here?
So Epicor is the world's 6th largest ERP manufacturer. We specialize in industry-specific solutions in that marketplace. Through the years, Epicor has grown through a series of acquisitions where now we have 83 different market offerings, not all of which, of course, are current market offerings. Some are legacy products, but much of what our customers are using on those particular platforms requires them to call in and get support from us. So they have various maintenance agreements. Because the company has grown the way it has, we have been very product-centric. You know, I sort of think of it as our center of gravity has been around any one of those market offerings. And so as we support clients, as we deliver professional services and some of the other business functions, it's been really around that product. As the world has changed, as our customers have changed, as they've globalized, as we've tapped into global markets, our need to change that center of gravity really to be around the entire customer experience has shifted. And so we're looking now to consolidate the way that we operate our business, moving off of disparate CRM-based technology platforms that manage our customer experience to a holistic single set of business processes, a platform that runs those business processes, but then also leveraging what the world's figured out relative to how to optimize service, how to deliver options and capabilities in service. And so we really took a complete step back and evaluated where is the marketplace today, where is it headed, what are the things that make sense in terms of the way we want to innovate in that customer experience. And we ultimately decided the service management approach to the way we deliver external customer support just made a world of sense.
Sounds like that was very much in line with the keynote this morning from Slootman, right? And it sounds, obviously, very much in parallel with some of those concepts.
It absolutely is. It's interesting. I was here at K16 and was shopping at the time I was here as a prospect. We already knew as an organization that we wanted to approach our problem using a service management type solution set. And so ServiceNow had invited Epicor to come to Knowledge 15, and as I was working the various booths down in the expo hall, I ran into their product manager that was just incubating this whole notion of what is customer service management. Right. And we got into a fairly lengthy conversation around what our business case was and what we were trying to accomplish. They had already gotten some traction in terms of ideating what it ought to be. Right. And so from that point, we really took the set of Epicor business requirements, mashed it up against what ServiceNow is up to, and became one of the first handful of customers that are now using that module and are live as of 3 weeks and 1 day.
And so how's
for
it going?
a portion of our business.
Yeah, how's it going then?
It is, it's been a little bit of a bumpy start, but I don't think that's really product related. That has a lot more to do with the fact that we are truly transforming the way we operate as a company. Right. And we're bringing in some new concepts and some new ideas in the way that we want to actually execute the business. And so most of our design has worked out well, but we're finding some areas that we've needed to change and modify. So we have about 1/7 of our business up and running. Throughout the rest of this calendar year, we'll be migrating the rest of our business on, and we'll complete by the end of the calendar year. So we're really excited. It's still absolutely the right direction. It's the right answer. ServiceNow has been a great partner. It's been a great fit. And I'm quite certain that our customers are going to enjoy what we deliver. I will tell you this. Our customer conference was here at Mandalay Bay just a month ago. Okay. So, we run an Epicor event similar to what Knowledge is about, and we showcased what it is that we're doing with our solution. We had just an overwhelming positive response from our customer base. As they looked at it, as they thought about what we were going to be accomplishing, and they firmly believe, as do we, that their experience will be much enhanced through ServiceNow.
Yeah.
approach.
Right?
You know, as I try to wrap my head around this, I think it really shows the challenge and some of the complexity you can get into in this space. Because as you were saying earlier, you support multiple verticals, you know, timber, electric, plumbing, so on and so
Absolutely.
forth. And I think, you know, reading into what you're saying, you've had some different customer relationship management approaches in some of these different verticals. Now you're trying to make it more consistent. And that's excellent. We often talk about the need for consistent processes and organizational-wide learning, but at the end of the day, you've got customers in the plumbing vertical who may have different expectations, different culture, different product experiences. They're using
absolutely
different
do.
parts of your portfolio. And so how do you walk that fine line between standardization versus the high-touch customer experience?
Yeah, it is a balancing act that we need to go through. There are customers that are very advanced, you know, so they're technologically savvy, and there are clients that almost never touch technology at all, and so are still learning how to turn a computer on. You know, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it is one of those customers that requires much more high touch. And so as we really looked at everything that service management does in its practices and principles, I'll just give you some analogies in the way we applied all this. The various business processes that exist, whether it's case management, which is equivalent to incident, but it has a different twist when you're talking about external. Problem management, which is the underlying root cause.
Right.
As a software manufacturer, most of the time that translates into software defects for us. Knowledge management, you can start to go down the list, and as a business, we're entering the cloud space, so we're doing much more with customers that want a truly hosted experience.
Right.
So now the whole ITOM world starts to come into play, and how do you deliver on that? All of those capabilities really start to define the backdrop, in terms of how we ought to operate. Right. So then what it looks like in the customer view is, hey, I have a support issue that I need to get resolved. Let's take a data corruption. I need to have that resolved. I need my business restored, but there's a software defect that lives underneath that. So they need an answer so they can continue to run their business, and they also need an answer so that they don't have an impact to their business in the future. So all the principles are absolutely there.
Yes.
How you communicate those and deal with people that are at different levels of technology understanding, is always a finesse, right? So that's your portal experience, that's using, familiar metaphors so that people are not necessarily learning something new when they come to your site and interested in getting support from you. So all of that, I think there's a blending of capability, user experience, the simplification, right? The Steve Jobs, iPhone experience, that kind of, or, the iPod, I guess, is probably, a better example. That's what we're trying to bake into it.
Right.
Right?
So it sounds like that's the facade of it, basically, on the interface. Even some of the capabilities is where you're making the uniqueness, not the core structure and flow and everything behind the scenes, that structure, but the presentation of it and some of those nuances are really where the uniqueness kind of comes into play.
Yeah, I think so. I'll tell you what's really different. You sort of, if you go back in time in IT and you think about what it was like in the 90s or maybe even the 80s, IT really managed everything as an incident. Everything was an incident, right? Something didn't work. Somebody wanted something. It was all an incident.
Yes.
Right.
And we got smarter. We said, well, wait a minute. It's really not all an incident. There's a business disruption. There's a root cause. There's a workflow, right? So your whole service catalog and your business services. That's precisely the path that we're going down.
Right.
And so what I suppose is new and different is we're now educating our customers that there really is a difference.
Right.
Right? There's a support event, that's a case. There's an underlying root cause, there's a defect. We're going to call that something different. We're going to call that a problem. Right? Tomato, tomato, it's a different work element.
Right.
And then the whole service catalog, I need something, right? And there's a predefined workflow, and hey, guess what? I can do automated fulfillment and give you an answer much faster.
Right.
Or the notion of self-service knowledge, right? We'll talk about that as incident deflection, case deflection in the context of customer service management. Customers think about that as a better experience.
Yeah, exactly.
We want our answers faster. We
Yes.
don't necessarily need to wait for an answer.
Right.
So, all the same results that IT has been searching for and is implemented, is exactly the same solution set that we're after. But it has a different veneer, right? As we've been talking. Excuse me, as we've been talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can certainly see, with all those different verticals you've got, just the way we were talking before, the expectations of someone who's working in plumbing and the expectations of someone who's working in a different vertical are going to be quite different. So I can see there is going to be a real, it's complicated, trying to reach each vertical in the language and the way that they want to communicate with you.
Yeah, and it gets interesting from a multi-industry, multi-product organization because our customer language does vary by customer.
Yep.
It's very much in the product set that we're delivering, and the different modules. If you've ever looked at a schematic of ERP software, it's highly complex software.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of different business activities that exist inside of those types of platforms, and it's your typical business cycles, right? Quote to cash and all of that.
Yep.
That we're operating on behalf of customers.
Yes.
And so depending upon where a client's at from their business acumen and their technical acumen, we do have to change how we interact.
Yeah. The language you use and everything needs to work for the people you're talking to.
Well, they're certainly going to have a leading understanding of it when we're done.
Yeah.
When you're done.
Yeah.
So I'd love to, when you come back, we'd love to hear more about
Yeah, I think so. In fact, I'll tell you one fast other anecdote. I told you we had our customer conference here a month ago. Once our clients started to look at this, they started to see the parallels of using this service management approach for their own customer base.
Yeah.
And so part of what they're now starting to talk to us about is how do we now adapt these same principles for our customer set? So I think we're at the beginning of something pretty special here across the industry.
Well, we'll have to find out how that works out next year and years going forward, see how that starts progressing.
Love to share that with you.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.